Alrighty, hey yo, what is up, Knights? Aegis Rick here, back with another KDNF summer update video. This is going to be the 2018 summer update video, also known as 2018 Media Day. And in this kind of update video, guys, we have got probably some of the biggest news, I feel like, that KDNF and DFO in general has seen in a couple years. Okay, this is humongous changes, because often what they do is like, okay, they reveal a new class, you know, Grandpa last time, and then they reveal, you know, the female paladin, female priest, all of that pretty exciting stuff, right? But you haven't really changed a core component of the game. You still got, you know, Antons, you still got Lukes. We have got a new level cap introduced, and that is just one of many things that we got in this update. Of course, with the new level cap, as you can expect, stronger characters, more powerful gear, more importantly, but we'll cover all of that. First, what I want to do is give a shout out to the three key people that keep making content for us here in DFOG. Anytime KDNF gets something, these three people: JKRowlling, which is what we're going to start out with because I feel like he presented it in such an easy way for us. JKRowlling made this image post of what the update kind of brought, and then we also are going to be looking at in more detail, instead of just looking at the images, we're going to look at the MetalPlateMage's kind of recap of what it was in much more detail in terms of what the stats and stuff of the new gear is going to look like. Again, this is just a KDNF announcement. Nobody knows for sure whether or not everything is completely true, if we translated it correctly, or if that's what it's going to be in the actual game. But finally, guys, this is all coming based off of Jay's translation, which is a big post. Usually we looked over this last time, but basically it's Jay's translation of the actual stream itself, the Media Day stream, and Jay did an initial translation of it, and basically everybody else's stuff is kind of based off of this kind of recap as well. So all three of these guys are common sources for us when it comes to the KDNF update, so I appreciate all of you guys' effort. But guys, let's go ahead and look, like I said, first at JKRowling's post, which is just a bunch of images, and it's going to very clearly summarize what is coming in the new patch. So first things first, if you guys want to see the actual VOD, there's some videos. We will be looking at some videos. In fact, maybe we start out the video with some of the official videos that were released during the stream. So here you go. Harlem New World. Yes, this is, oh god. This is the new area that we're gonna, oh god, that guy too. Everybody's creepy as fuck over here in Harlem, guys. But new town, basically, and there will obviously be new dungeons. These are the main NPCs of the town. My guess is they probably won't play too big a role in terms of the things that they can do, but the dungeons that Harlem hosts, there's going to be 6 of them. Very unique dungeons, like this sand crawler stage to start off this dungeon. Hopefully it's not too annoying with the speedboats kind of thing, but or take too much time, that is. A lot of, I mean, we just keep getting edgier and edgier with the regions that we're in and the enemies that we're fighting. We got some literal flaming imp demon. It's hard to say how much you're actually going to see most of this content, because usually what happens is the standard dungeons are like really kind of easy, you know, and so these kind of look awesome. Like this is this black lion dog thing, wolf. You have to stand behind that guy to get protected. But how often are you really going to see a lot of this content? But we'll talk about that in a bit here. Ooh, get ordered! Yeah! Which that guy is actually the last boss of that region, of the Harlem region. The Fight Club, I guess, would be the highest level content that we'll have at the game, which was, if I haven't mentioned yet, this is the 95 cap, okay? So 5 levels higher. Currently, this is playing the Pandemonium Rift boss music, as far as the music goes, but here it seems like we are just doing like some kind of tower defense content where you just stay on this bird and you have to fight these bosses that keep spawning in. So, looks pretty epic. I always love, like, whenever they go above and beyond. Whenever we were riding that worm, that was a pretty cool stage. But now you're riding on top of this giant eagle, so that's even doper. So we'll see what that content really entails. I do believe, I don't know if that particular one is going to be from one of the dungeons, but yeah, it does look pretty cool. But here, again, 6 standard dungeons that we got for our new region. This is cut pretty standard at this point, so we'll be probably leveling through a pretty easy scenario through this region. I guess this is just showing the dungeons yet again, so, and showing the much oh, epic shine, bitch. 2 epic shines. One of them looked like a legendary, actually. Oh god, that triggered me just hearing that shit. Yeah, that one right there looked like a legendary here on the right side, and then killed another guy, and that seemed like an epic drop right there. So, or something like that. Why did the legendary shine with like one of those bars in the air, and this one didn't? So, it's hard for me to tell. Maybe this one is an epic. It's one of the new epics. This might be the 95 epic, but as you guys can see, this is normal hell mode. We're going to talk about that, but basically, yes, it will cost DI, but it will also cost something else. And the epics that drop are going to be 95 and level 90 as well. So this is probably like a level 90. That's the net level 95, so fuck the old shit. Even though 90 to us is like the top tier shit, well, anymore, right? So continuing on here, though. So I don't know really what content this is just by looking at it. As you can see on the mini map, we've got 3 different kind of things we've got to defeat probably before we kill the final boss, and they do look randomized. So we kill these 3 mini bosses. This is probably the highest level content here, if I'm not mistaken. One of the contents here that is going to be a end game type of grinding thing, obviously. And this is probably, nobody's talking about this, but this is pretty big. The last thing that is mentioned in this patch is the new raid content. We've had Anton, we've had Luke, and that right there is the other apostle we haven't really mentioned much at all, it being the Isis. That is actually Isis. So the apostle Isis looking pretty beastly right here. I mean, the Apostle Isis, I don't know how hard it's going to be, but considering that Luke, honestly, when you started upgrading some Luke pieces and you got more Luke sets and the shaders kept getting stronger, Luke content started to become a whole lot more easy, to the point where it's almost walk in the park easy, especially if everybody in the party is that geared. And I don't really know the direction that Neopol wants to go with this. I have a lot to talk about this. The gear progression in this game, probably not in this video, maybe in a podcast or something, but from how easy it is in Luke, this shit is going to be hard. This shit is going to be so hard, at least at first, until you get maybe a 95 epic set and maybe upgrade it by some means and make it stronger. This shit's not going to be easy. And then once you do get that kind of stuff, then this shit is going to be easy, and that's kind of how it goes. So, we'll see, though. ISIS content, nobody's really talking about this because they're more concerned about the process of getting to this content. It's nice to get stronger content, obviously, because you don't want to just stay stagnant doing Luke and then you're like, okay, well, this is easy. I know Beast is coming, and Beast is going to be so hard that it's really going to show you guys the discrepancy between the classes at that point, because everybody's like geared to the max when you do Beast Dungeon, but for some reason it's impossible for some classes, and hopefully Isis doesn't turn out that way. But it's exciting that, you know, are we nearing the end of DFO, like in terms of content? Who knows? I mean, we've got Isis, we got Hilder, we've got Kane, we still got these big raids to go, guys. So here's Isis. He's looking pretty beastly, and he's probably not going to be a chump, because Luke was no slouch. Anyway, guys, let's continue, guys. Let's actually talk about some content here. This is the actual Media Day translation by JKRowlling. I actually have it open here. And first things first, I mean, I'm going to be talking for a long time here, so I don't want to harp on too many things that don't matter too much, but here's the current logo for DFO. Here's the new one. I like it a lot. It kind of mimics more of the DFO global one. Honestly, aesthetically, it's better to have your icon head on instead of this slanted bullshit. So yeah, no, this is great. I like the new logo. Looks really awesome. New World Harlem, we kind of saw that with the old grandpa. No, it's a grandma. I hope I don't see her again. Level 95 cap increase, that's a big deal. The new town is actually called Black Market, so I guess the dungeon, oh, there she is, god dang it. The new town is called Black Market, and so the, I guess the dungeon region is called Harlem. Nobody here, I mean, everybody's looking busted. Do not even talk to me with this. Yo, this guy's crazy. Oh, poor looking kid. I mean, this looks like the home of MetalPlateMage. You know, this looks like the homeland of MetalPlateMage. Look, MetalPlateMage here, MetalPlateMage there. They're in a dump. They're in their natural habitat. The trash can. Anyway, moving on. So, yeah, I don't know the story. My guess is, like I was saying, these NPCs are probably just story related. I don't think they're going to add any new features. Maybe this guy will sell you, like, the area legendaries or area epics, which we'll again talk about. New dungeon area Harlem, yes, so I was right about that. First you got this Mad Max motherfucker, then you got this mistress. She's actually looking a little more classy than normal mistress, you know. She doesn't look as hoish. She's still looking good though. Dark City, like I said, he's like a fake, I don't know, orc or something. Oh no, do they always need to have the evil witch with the umbrella? I mean, come on now. Red witch was enough, blue witch was enough. They need to stop. They really, the Goth Loli set way back like 3 years ago, they need to stop with this shit. That character from Blaze Blue, please, for the love of Pete. We've got some gambling imp. I feel like this is like cliche as hell too, but maybe I'm wrong about that. He looks pretty cool. The stage itself looks pretty cool too. You saw that it was like a literal casino and stuff, like flashing lights. So you can see a lot of assets made for just this one dungeon. Again, I hate it's kind of a shame that there's a lot of like this cool stuff, like all of these dungeons right now that aren't really too focused on, right? You're going to be doing your scenario. You'll maybe do them for like, you know, a couple hours, and then you'll never see them again unless you're doing hells in that area. So lastly, we got the Fight Club. This is pretty cool. He's looking like he's getting turned from the fights or something. Maybe a little worse than that. Anyway, so the Fight Club, we saw some boxer dude. Maybe they have different kind of bosses at the end. That might be kind of cool. And there you go. So those are the new content. Again, will probably not be a big focus. Now this shit right here is humongous, big deal. Now I don't really understand them all myself, so I'm going to be talking a little bit out my ass because I've read it a couple times, but I don't understand really the intricacies, right? What do the dungeons look like? How hard are the dungeons? But basically what it's going to be like, if you guys know, in Pandemonium right now we have the ability to farm area uniques, right? And then we can take those area uniques, then if you get more purification stones, then we can upgrade that unique. Say I'm talking about the reconstruction weapons, right? You can take more of your purification stones and then upgrade that to a reconstruction legendary equipment, right? And so we're basically farming ourselves a legendary in that way. There's also the area legendaries, which are pretty cheap. What are they, like 400 purification stones? You can farm those, and those are area legendaries. Now what they have now in the new Harlem area is area epics. This is the first time in DFO that you have had the ability to do regular content and get epics as a result. Almost always it's been legendaries at the max. Now this is not going to be easy, okay? Anytime you introduce epics, it is not going to be easy, but the possibility remains, okay? If you have the ability to farm Econ, for instance, and then you get legendary that way. Econ wasn't the easiest thing in the world, and even today it isn't. As you'll soon see, it's going to be much easier. But it was like a guaranteed way to get a legendary set that was really strong. Now this is a new guaranteed way to get an epic set. And I'll just have you know, that set is pretty strong. We're not going to really go into the details of the strength of the set. We will when we talk about here. But just as a quick example, MetalPlateMage made this post. But the level 95 legendary weapon, this isn't even epic yet. The legendary Emancipation Greatsword, for instance, has 20 elemental damage, 10% crit rate, +1 to all of your skills like a reconstruction weapon. And then finally, 24% Eleanor damage. Consider this like way stronger than a Liberation, right? Because Liberation caps out at what, like 16% Eleanor, no elemental attack, no plus to skills. Like this is a big deal, and this is just a legendary. So just imagine what we're going to be getting from the new Harlem area sets, and that was just a legendary. Now kind of going over here, it kind of like the progression that they suggest for this is you do assault mode. Basically that's going to get you your level 95 legendary equipment, and then you need materials to then upgrade that shit by farming the Dawn Rift set. You either get 95 and you get items to upgrade that legendary into an epic. The way I kind of am looking at this, guys, is that you do assault mode just to farm the materials so that you can buy the gear. So that's like farming Bloody Lane, right? You're doing Bloody Lane so that you can get purification stones, then you can buy the legendary, right? So you're doing assault mode to buy legendaries. Okay, Dawn Rift is very equivalent to, say, like Econ, right? Because you do Econ, the Econ pieces can drop directly, but they also drop materials to upgrade the Econ gear into stronger legendaries. But here you're doing Dawn Rift to get the level 95 legendaries as well as the upgrade materials to upgrade it to an epic. Okay, so it's kind of like Econ is right now. You're getting 95 to drop and you're also getting the material to upgrade it, and then once you have enough, you can upgrade to the 95 epics. And so Dawn Rift is probably going to be the dungeon you're doing most. Assault mode is probably just what you're doing to, maybe if you can't get a 95 legendary to drop from Dawn Rift, you just do assault mode and you are guaranteed to eventually get the piece that you want, and then you upgrade it with. You're going to do a lot of Dawn Rift, whatever the hell that is. So now the thing to note about this is, yes, you're getting the materials here, you're getting the materials here, but the one thing that is excluded is the weapon. Okay, so you cannot get any legendary weapons or epic weapons for that matter by doing assault mode in Dawn Rift. But everything else, I'm pretty sure, is going to be, you know, the armor at least is definitely going to be farmable by using these two methods, and eventually you'll be able to get an epic set just by doing these two dungeons. You're going to get an epic set by doing that. Now, Sleepy Hollow is what's going to be designed just for the legendary weapon, which we kind of already talked about. The legendary weapon is already this strong. So by doing Sleepy Hollow, which is one particular dungeon, I would, again, consider it like Bloody Lane. Who knows how hard it's going to be, but you do a daily quest, you get materials for farming, bam, guaranteed. So it's a daily kind of thing. Nobody knows how long it's going to take, but you are going to be getting a level 95 legendary weapon, which is already much stronger than your Liberation, and it's guaranteed and pretty dang strong. I mean, this is not going to compete with epics, but this is like a step below epics. In fact, I would say it would probably compete with some of our 85 epics. Some of them, if they're not very good right now. But this is like maybe one step below 85 epics. That's how strong I consider those. And you got to remember, they're level 95, so the raw stats on them are also much higher. And quite frankly, this effect right here, a lot of people in my last video, I kind of ragged on reconstruction weapons. Some people said reconstruction weapons, some of them are stronger for certain classes because of this effect, right? +1 to all your skills is not a small feat, especially if we're talking about like Dark Knight and stuff like that. It might be more important than the Eleanor. Well, now we're getting best of both worlds, and we're getting 20 elemental attack, which pretty much affects every class in the game. So, big deal. This, on top of it being in level 95 in Legendary, which has a ton of stats, it also has really good stats, and it's guaranteed easy to farm. Just do Sleepy Hollow, which is the theme that a lot of people are sharing, and I'll just touch on it now, and we'll talk about it a lot more in the podcast. But basically, people are feeling as though, man, it's easy, it's gonna be easy at least to get content or gear that is stronger than the kinds of things that we've been through. Way easier, right? In terms of hell mode, in terms of even Econ dungeons you're gonna see is gonna be made way easier, and Econs isn't that strong. You're getting much stronger content for much easier, and people are feeling betrayed by the sheer fact that, hey, we've been having to do Luke, Anton, and all this shit. Here's some ways to make, I mean, we're literally making 95 epics, potentially, weapons already, and you're going to be able to upgrade these, you know, to levels that are probably going to be stronger than Luke upgraded. So, not going to really discuss that here, but yes, you're going to feel that sentiment probably as we continue going through here. All right, one thing that is going to be a new system is you can change the quality. They call it quality. Basically, it's the armor type. So you can take any cloth, leather, light armor, heavy armor, or plate armor, and then you can make it into something else. So say I got a heavy armor to drop, but I want the plate set. Well, I can now it's like converting into the plate set. My guess is with this, and this also says that the Tabor's epics are included. So the Tabor's are like way stronger than these Harlem area epics. Tabor's is the top tier epics. They are the real. If you consider these epics as craftable epics, like kind of like our crafting system with the 90 epic weapons, this is the 95. Harlem area is kind of like that, where you're kind of crafting your own epic. Well, the Tabor's epics are like the epics that you guys know that you get from Hell mode. Okay, they're way stronger. They're the strongest tier, and Tabor's epics are included in this equipment quality change. So basically what that means is if you get a 95 epic, almost certainly if it's not a weapon, you're going to be able to change it into something that's for your class. So really, you only need to get 5 pieces to drop for any armor type, and you can use this epic quality change to change it into one that you actually want. So it does sound like there's going to be a lot less farming involved when we talk about the epics at level 95. On top of that, they're going to be changing how the epic fragment system works. Basically, anytime you disassemble a weapon, currently you get an epic soul and clear cube fragments. Well, now you'll get that as well as epic fragments for that gear that you disassembled, which is a big deal. And quite frankly, I saw a screenshot. I'll put it on the screen. It's 100 fragments. So basically, you disassemble anything 10 times, you can craft it on another character. And you also get the same benefits. You still get the souls, you still get the clear cube fragments. It's like guaranteeing it, which is a huge, oh my gosh, that's a big. Do you know how many epics I've disassembled in my time in DFO? I would have been able to craft things several times over. It's just kind of crazy that it's taken this long for them to do this. It's 100 though. It's 1/10 of the amount that you need to craft an epic. You'll still see that the epic souls, when you go to craft them, is going to be the limiting factor for the most part, or the legendary souls. So you might have enough fragments, but you'll still be limited by the sheer fact that you still need a lot of materials to craft epic. A lot that you might even consider if it's worth it with this new system, honestly. 250 legendary souls and 50 epic souls for an epic armor set. Is that worth it considering the new changes? That's kind of the thing that you have to consider. Alright guys, now this is the big one. Okay, so we just talked about farming an epic set, right? Okay, but you got to consider this is kind of like the current Pandemonium dungeon region where you can get a reconstruction and then upgrade it to a legendary. It's the same thing except you're getting legendary and upgrading it to an epic, okay? This is not a true epic in my eyes. Yes, it's going to be very fucking strong. It's going to be strong. It might contend with level 90 epics, honestly. This is how strong this set's going to be because it's level 95 and it's an epic quality. But those aren't the true epics, okay? Those are nice. This shit is the true epics, right? It's the Tabor's epic set. And you're going to be able to farm this dungeon by going into, you're going to need an entry requirement. It's going to be, I like to think of it like Pandemonium Rift, okay? It's not something that you can just, it's going to be free and you can just do it. No, it's going to be very costly. And it's a special dungeon, but there's going to be, basically it's like 2 different dungeons. One of them is going to be like Pandemonium Rift. You're going to need an entry requirement, but up to 4 people can go, and what you get out of it is you could get an epic equipment, just like the Pandemonium Rift and Tabor's epic equipment. And here it says right here, it's stronger than 95 Harlem. It's the strongest. It should just say right here, this is the strongest set in the game. So we're going to have to do some kind of Pandemonium Rift like dungeon. You can also get purchase materials to buy. I guess it's going to be a selectable kind of thing. As long as you have enough of purchase requirements, you can buy it directly. And then finally, you'll get Crack in the Sky entry materials, which, what is Crack in the Sky? Well, here it is. Hell Party, Crack in the Sky. So basically, this is like doing Pandemonium Rift. This is like doing Hell Mode for the Tabor's equipment. This is obviously going to have a higher drop chance, but you're going to need Hell Party in the Harlem area, and you need the Sky entry material to do it. So basically what that means is, yes, you need demon invitations. Right here it says you will need demon invitations, but then you also need that one item from the special dungeon, basically, to get into Crack in the Sky. So you can't just run endless hells, as far as I'm concerned. You need to farm those hells by doing this Tabor's Collapse Paradise. You need to farm your hells up here first before you can do regular hells, what we're used to get Tabor's equipment. Both of these things, by the way, give you Tabor's equipment. This is probably less likely. More likely you're going to get just entrance materials and shit like this, but this is going to be the highest chance you're going to get 95 epics. So here is the true OG fucking farming hells. This is what you got to do. Now, this is different. Like I said, you can't just get demon invitations and go ham. You need to farm the Crack in the Sky Hell Party. So that's how that works. And this is where most people are going to be. Well, basically, these 2 dungeons, my guess is, most people who are currently at the end game, currently in DFOG, yes, this kind of stuff over here is nice, but why would you bother doing that? Why don't you just instead just go straight to the OG real stuff? No need to farm an area legendary when you have an upgraded Luke set. Okay, you just go into here, start farming as many sky entry materials you got, and then go into Crack in the Sky and start farming your 95 epic set. So there you go. All right, guys. The next area is the disaster area. Now, this is kind of like a interesting dungeon. It's a farming dungeon, but the rewards are completely and utterly based on what difficulty that you go into it. So you're gonna need you can challenge at the Harlem area's disaster area. That's probably a different area, but you introduce disaster elements, face dungeons and disasters depending on the difficulty level, which that sounds like a really cool idea. I don't know which dungeon is which, to be honest with you, but basically how it works is whatever difficulty that you go into, say you go into level 1, you'll get this material right here, which is basically assault mode, purchase materials and the aerial materials. Then if you go into disaster level 2, it's kind of like the Dawn Rift, materials that you're going to need to purchase things like from the Dawn Rift, as well as area material up, so you'll get more material than you will at disaster level 1. And then disaster area level 3 is Tabor's epic equipment area and even more area materials. So basically just do level 3 for you endgame people. If you're actually trying to get a legendary set and then upgrade it to an epic, then do disaster level 2. That's what that sounds like, but it's probably not going to be very easy. So there you go. That's how this is going to work, guys. There is an area epic set in the Harlem area epic set, upgraded from a legendary set, which is already pretty dang strong. There's a legendary weapon to get out of it, which is stronger than Liberation, as well as new hell mode in Tabor's Collapsed Paradise, which you need to farm the hell mode for the Tabor's equipment. That's how that works. And then disaster area to kind of top it off. So boom, that's how that farming works. Look over this content yourself if you don't understand it, because honestly, I'm not going to sit here and act like I know what I'm talking about, but because I just read it a couple times over, but that's what it sounds like. Major dungeon rework. Okay, we're getting Econ dungeon rework here. I'm just going to summarize it. Basically, it's right here. Okay, now you can go in a party of 4. I don't know why this wasn't a thing in the first place, because support classes got absolutely fucked. A lot of things are ease. You don't need as much exorcism. The entrance requirement was my biggest reason why I didn't do this more often. I find it a lot more easier to do ancient dungeons than it is to do Econ, which is to be expected, but it was a lot of terranium that was kind of used, and it was expensive as shit. So that's going to be reduced. Other things, like I think this part right here mentions like wearing new Econ gears of 3 and 6 pieces activates the set option, which is something that happens, which I complained about, that Gracious set. If I wore a 6 set effect, I got the 6 set effect. But if I replaced one of the pieces and I got a 5 set effect, I lost the effect of the whole set with the Econ set, and Gracious set did not have this limitation. I would instead get a 5 set effect. So hopefully that's what this means, is that you have the ability to wear less pieces in the full set and still get at least a partial set effect. So that's going to be nice, I think. There's going to be no more rank up, so you don't have to get 3 stars and then make your set. It's just everything's going to be as if you had 3 stars already. They're going to combine some groups option selections. That basically means there's 3 groups right now, and you have the option of getting 2 of those groups, and it's a random one of those 3 each time. So if you're trying to get double elemental, it's a little hard to do. Now they're going to maybe make it a 50-50 instead of a 1/3 kind of deal. Everything is going to take Dharma symbols. A lot of things already do, but this makes it a lot easier. I guess when you disassemble, you'll get a bunch of Dharma symbols, maybe, but that's kind of not a big deal. And then the conversion scroll added. That's kind of nice because you won't need to do the different things separately. If you want to modify the equipment, rank it up, and set options, all of that is kind of consolidated into the conversion spell. So Econ's made a lot easier. They keep making Econ easier, and honestly, it changes the gear progression, because is Econ even gonna be necessary? I mean, Econ sets are strong, but as you will soon see, some of these sets right here, like what you get from the assault set, assault mode, is like really strong. So stronger than a whole Econ set. So is it gonna be necessary? We'll find out. Anton and Luke farming rework. Basically, there's just going to be 2 small changes. They're not going to be really that drastic, so I'll cover them. But basically, the Anton soul fragments and condensed Antonium requirements for your average accessories and special equipments are going to be drastically decreased, is what it says right here. Quite frankly, I think yes, a lot of people do use Avarice accessories if they're not able to get any good accessories. So I guess that's all right. And I know later with the Beast Dungeon, you're going to be able to upgrade those directly into the Beast accessory set, which is the best in slot set. So that, I guess, is all right. But most of the reason people do Anton is for the DI and for the Savior weapon. So those don't seem to have been changed at all. There were some other changes that were before this update that we have yet to get. So this might be okay. And then the Luke farming rework, they're actually drastically increasing the light sources that you get from Luke normals, which honestly doesn't seem like that big of a deal. Light sources, there's not a lot of reason, a lot of things you can use your light sources for. Basically two, that is the Luke card, which is very useful. It's the only earring card that you can really get. And then the other use is the light sources can be used to get epic fragments, which we already found out was also a really, you know, they've made it easier to get epic fragments, so at least for your weapon in this case. So yes, it's all right, but both of these things don't seem to drastically change Anton and Luke raids, which it kind of puts into question what the meta is going to be with the Anton and Luke raids, because right now most people do Anton raid for their Savior's weapon, okay? Because they know that later when they go to do Luke raid, they can upgrade that Savior's weapon into the Savior's Triumph weapon, which is up until this point the level 90 best in slot, almost on every single character in the game, the best weapon you can get. Well, we soon to find out that the Tabor's equipment, there is some that have been announced, and they are stronger than Savior's Triumph. But so it really brings into question what we are planning to do with both Anton and Luke raid. You're almost at this point kind of outmoding both modes. I mean, Luke raid, basically the only thing with the introduction of the Tabor's equipment and these weapons, the only thing that makes Luke raid viable would be the sub equipment, since we don't have a lot of, you know, the sub equipment set. So it's putting a lot of the current meta of raids and stuff into question, which I'd hate for it to kind of get outdated like that. But we'll continue on here when we get a little bit more details. They're going to change how the TP works. Basically, it's currently we use TP, and those TP can sometimes it's used to change the animation of a skill. Most of the time it's used to get 10% more damage on a skill. They're going to be upgrading that to using runestones, and the runestones are going to change your animations, or relics will be doing that later. But basically, normal runestones are used to increase the damage, and then you'll be getting options to relics. That still sounds honestly like the same thing as TP, because TPs can change the animation of some skills if it allowed it. Kind of had to look at it. Now they're just kind of making it its own system, which honestly what that sounds like to me is that they're going to go back and reanimate some new things that the runestones can do, or the relics, for instance, can do. Skill modify, grant options, that kind of thing. That's pretty rare for the TP system. So that basically what this means is they're going to do TP, but they're going to revamp it such that there's going to be more options, which is great to me. It sounds awesome. It's going to be a lot of work for them because they got to make new animations and they got to give special effects, but it's going to be a lot more fun for people like me who like dicking around with maybe some obscure builds to try and make some more fun things. I mean, I found Chronicle sets to be some of the most fun things to do, and make, you know, I wear a whole set even though it's not viable, just because it was a lot more fun to use Venom Mine with my Venom Mine set than to just use it normally. So relics, big huge thing, and hopefully they make some really strong ones, because that's going to be another way to increase your damage on your character, is to make these cool relics that do like way different things. And lastly, guys, Isis, he's coming. He's still looking pretty badass. So, alright, I didn't see this down here, but this basically kind of confirms what we have been talking about already. Basically, legendary, you know, here are the 3 tiers of gear that are introduced with this system. We've got legendary across the left here. Those involve the assault mode to give you materials for everything but weapon, Sleepy Hollow for the legendary weapon, and then you have Dawn Rift has a chance of dropping legendaries directly, and Dawn Rift also has the materials that are dropping. So look at the color code for the different dungeons. Basically, these assault mode and Sleepy Hollow are their own dungeon. Normal hells, in, you know, just by doing normal hell mode, but in the dungeon region they still have that. You'll get Harlem epic materials and such, and you'll also get 90 epics. So it's like a guaranteed way to get 90 epics, but fuck all that, because the only reason you're going to be using your DI is for this purple section right here, which is the Tabor's epic, which you need it's the Sky Hell mode, I guess. You need a Sky Rift entry material, and then that will give you a Tabor's epic, as well as 90 epics and some Harlem equipment material. So basically do Sky Hell when this stuff comes out. Use your DI for Sky Hell, not this normal Hell. There you go. That's how this works. It's kind of like Dawn Rift, normal content in Assault Mode, and Sleepy Hollow, normal Hells, and then Sky Hell right here. Boom. Do the purple. And then the disaster areas like we talked about. Here's to get legendaries. Here's to upgrade to the epics or get them as drops directly for the materials that you can trade them in. And then lastly, here's what you need to buy yourself a Tabor's Epic by doing Disaster Area 3. So, boom. Awesome summary. Honestly, I would not have been able to glean that from any of the other posts, so I appreciate you, JKRowlling, because that was a lot of translation probably involved in doing that. So if you guys want some detail, I suggest you guys check out this post by MetalPlateMage. I just want to kind of go over it myself to kind of show you guys what I was talking about with there may be a possibility of some content stunting going on, because it goes without saying, why would you bother putting all of this effort into content that's almost easily going to be outdated, right? It's just going to be like, well, why don't I just wait? Why don't I just prepare myself and just wait until that content comes? Which is exactly what was mentioned in this poll, a straw poll that was started. Will you continue spending that now that we know 95 cap is coming? And I wanted to kind of talk about this. Yes, no, much less. Let's see what the results are really quick. I think this is an interesting straw poll because the majority, I mean, it's like a 50-50 split, honestly. Some people are just going to be like, yeah, fuck it, I'll wait for the patch, which, you know, if you want to ask my opinion, I think it's a logical thing to do. Yes, as much as usual, which is kind of uplifting to hear that people aren't just going to give up on DFO until the new patch comes, which is great. I'm one of those people who is going to probably wait for this kind of patch, especially if it's coming out very, very soon in KDNF. That means we're only 6 months out. That's 6 months of preparing for this patch, in my opinion. But then people are going to be much less. So yeah, I'll probably be in this camp right here. Yeah, but much less. And then, yes, more than before, so I can get ready. Oh, shit. So this is the camp that says they're going to grind more than they were before to get ready for the 95 cap, which I think is just a complete opposite of what I would assume most people would go for. The majority of the vote here is 56% with the yes, but much less, or no, not at all. So I thought that was kind of interesting because here is what the gear sets are going to be looking like when they come in. This is the weapon right here. We had kind of already talked about this. Stronger Than Liberation has a lot more stats. This is the Assault Mode legendary set. So each of the legendary pieces actually gives a certain amount of power. For instance, this is already giving me 6% attack power, and it's a belt. Like, what? One piece giving 5%. And this is the effects that you normally see on single pieces of epics. This is very strong. And then they do have a 3 and 5 set effect. So it's just like the level 90 epic sets. Those are the only other sets in the game that have a 3 and 5 set effect, and they're a legendary farmable set. The 3 pieces giving 15 elemental damage and 10% strength and int, and 30 more elemental and 25 Eleanor for a 5 set effect. This is way stronger than Ekon. I mean, the set effect might not look as strong as Ekon, but you got to remember there's a lot of elemental damage here, which affects everybody, and there's a lot of independent physical magic attack power that's just encoded in the individual pieces. On top of the set effect, this is way stronger than what you can get from an Ekon set. So it goes without reason, or it goes without saying that that's why they're going to be making the Ekon sets easier to farm, because quite frankly, if they were harder to farm than this, then what the fuck is the point of Ekon at all? But my guess is these sets are going to take as long as farming Ekon was in the past, at least, okay, because of how powerful they are. I mean, it just makes the most sense. Remember how Ekon was when it came out, and they kept drastically decreasing the difficulty and kept doing that. Right now, we're in kind of like the medium stage where it's not as hard, but it still takes a little bit of time. Now they're going to make Ekon much easier to farm. My guess is a lot less time, but here's what's going to be replacing it. Now, it's not clear as to, I don't think we have stats on what this set looks like when it's actually upgraded to an epic set, the Harlem area epic set, but you can upgrade that into an epic set, and my guess is it's going to be even stronger, but you need a lot of materials to do that. So is it only going to be epic quality in which case it's just going to have epic grade stats but not increase the stats individually on there, then this is going to be a very, very strong legendary set, which won't have much reason to be an epic. My guess is they are going to increase the individual stats on here when you upgrade each piece. So that's just kind of my suggestion or idea. They don't mention it here, so just kind of letting you know. So with the level 95 epics, I'm not really sure on whether or not they're Turbers equipment or are they upgraded legendary weapons. Like these are the Sleepy Hollow weapons. Okay, so I want to make a correction here because I didn't know. These level 95 epics, right, are 95 area epics. These are basically, essentially, you can upgrade to this. So this right here, the Emancipation weapon, you can take the Emancipation weapon, upgrade it to one of these. Those are the area epics. Down here are the Tabers epics. Honestly, looking at some of the effects, like this Beam Spear, I don't think this is stronger than Savior's Triumph, which is a level 90, you know, currently best in slot in the game for the whole cast almost. I don't think this is going to beat that. This is giving 25 elemental Eleanor, which is actually a big deal. It's much more than 25% extra damage, but the extra effects aren't that great. This doesn't seem like that strong. But then you go look at the Doom Conviction Scythe, which is a level 95 new scythe. It gives you 40% additional crit damage and 28% Eleanor. Yo, that is almost 70% damage amp. Oh my god. That scythe is crazy, yo. Hard to believe that this is the 95 for Spearman, Dragon Man, and this is a fucking scythe that any priest can use. That's fucked up. I'm not gonna judge the strength on it. Honestly, I'm not all that worried about it. Savior's Triumph is still going to be a very strong weapon, but look, when you see things like this scythe, it sounds like the 95 epics are going to be, some of them, slated to be stronger than Savior's Triumph, which is kind of sad, considering how hard it is to get Savior's Triumph. In the process that you go to get Savior's Triumph, right, I almost feel like if there's anything that should be kept amongst the progression that should be kept, it should be your Savior weapon. Okay, the Savior weapon is something that's lasted since Anton. It was upgraded to Savior's Triumph once we did Luke, and by God, we should be able to, when Isis gets announced, upgrade that Savior's Triumph into something even stronger, such that these 95 epics don't beat it. Because, you know, it just sounds, it's the way to get progression going, to be able to ensure that you have the strongest weapon and you cultivated that weapon. It's kind of like All Might, yo. We cultivated it. We were weak at first, but now we're fucking All Might, you know. I don't want to be able to just immediately become freaking stronger than All Might in 1 second. You know how it is. You know how that goes. Anyway. Epic, we kind of talked about most of this. Yes, you can purchase new Epic equipment. You can already do that, but my guess is it's just going to cost Epic Souls, and you can buy whatever you want. Cool. We talked about this. You're going to get 100 Epic Fragments for each time you disassemble Epic item. Temporal Altar, I don't even know what that is. Individual drop for all hell modes. So they're going to basically make it so that you can party up in hell mode, which is great, great. Same method as Temporal Rift. Temporal Rift is the only dungeon that allowed you to do that. Now all hell modes are going to be able to let you do that. That's nice. Non-Rift, we kind of talked about already. That's what you need to upgrade your legendaries to epics. Hell Party Celestial Rift, that's basically the Tabers dungeon, and you need to do that other dungeon to get an entry to it. It should be noted that the regular Harlem Hell modes, you can still do that. Those are going to give you 95 area epics. Those are what you are upgrading your legendaries into. Or 90 drops directly. So it's like a guaranteed way to get 90 epics, but you also have a chance of getting the 95 area epic. Down here are the Tabers epics. So here's, we're looking at the Javelin again. Here's, it gives you 45 skill damage with a chance to give you 30%. Holy fuck. That is what a Tabers 95 epic looks like. This is going to be fucked up. That's 75%, bro. Oh, shit. Man, so this Shattered Paradise dungeon is actually pretty cool. It's just like Ekon, except it can drop... I kind of talked about this. I was like, yo, what if we did Ekon and we got epics out of it? That's what this is. It's just fucked up. This is dropping Tabers epics. Sometimes. Most of the time you're going to be getting, just the materials, but you're getting the materials to purchase it. Sometimes it actually drops it, and finally you're getting the material to do the Sky Hell mode. Oh, fuck, this is going to be good. Okay, guys, this is the be-all, end-all set in the whole game. Level 95 Tabor's equipment. Okay, how strong is this? Each piece is giving 16% mods. Yo, oh no. Every piece is giving 16, basically 20% mods. Every piece. Shoulder, top, bottom, belt, shoes, 20% across the board. That's just the individual pieces. And then the 3 set, 1 to your 5085, 10% and another 10%. And then the 5 set, a bunch of speed, plus 2 more levels to those high level skills, and another 26%. Honestly, the set effect doesn't even seem that great. It's the individual pieces that are so strong. And man, you know, Neopol, yes, this is the strongest set by far that you're going to get in this game. But it's just so sad that Neopol has taken this kind of homogeneous, straight damage increase route to try and I don't know, homogenize the gear in this game. My guess is this is the cloth armor set. My guess is all of the sets are going to be exactly like this. You know why? Because if we go back to the this ability here, if we go back here, this equipment change right here tells me that I can change the quality of 95 epics to one of this armor type. Why would they allow me to do that if they were different? Say the cloth armor set gave me this, but then the plate armor set gave me something stronger than that. Why would they allow me to do this? My guess is all of the sets are going to be Tabor's set. The only difference is going to be the armor type, which is sad. Honestly, all the 90 sets basically do the same thing nowadays. I mean, minor differences. They're all going to be doing comparable damage at the end. And here with the Tabor set, they just decided, okay, they're all going to do the same thing. Just straight up 100% mods, 26 additional crit, bunch of levels to your high level skills, and just the same mods all around. And I don't like that. The 85 sets were probably the most interesting. Honestly, the 80 sets were even more interesting than the 85 sets. And they've just been getting less and less interesting as time has moved on. Yes, it's been balancing out the gear a little bit, but it's also been boring as fuck to just do damage cap after damage cap without having to think about what your gear sets actually do. This is coming from a guy who's played Ragnarok Online, where gear was everything. Now in this game, gear is just a formality at this point. This really is a shame. Okay guys, this video has gotten long. I don't know how long, but it feels like I've been talking for 10 hours, so I'm going to try to wrap this up. Change the equipment type to your choosing. Cloth to leather, I just talked about this. Yes, it does work for epics. Imperial Coliseum changes. You're going to be able to get count-bound Manoleums from that, but again, with the introduction of shit like this, is Manoleums even going to be necessary? Good question. Oh shit, this is a big deal. Status effect type formula changed. So bleed, poison, and shock burn now use weapon independent attack power formula. I don't know how this is going to affect my brawler. I really hope that refining is still a thing, because I spent a lot of effort fucking refining my shit. My guess is it's just how the damage is actually calculated. Going to be a lot of class changes, but that's kind of minor in light of all this other shit. But just know that they're still working on class changes, so that's nice. They're going to have to change the male and female brawler yet again, which they already did, and they're going to be changing all of these low tier witch, vagabond, blood mage. Oh man, all these classes. EB is getting changed. Mechanic yet again. Are they going to be changing the male satyr for his excessive swapping? That's going to be a great change, I think. They just need to consolidate some of his buffs into one. And gosh, guys, I've been talking for the past hour. I want to end this video. I want to thank everybody if you stayed till the end to watch this, but there's a lot of stuff coming, so I kind of had to discuss that. But I'm excited. I'm on the fence. Honestly, I am more preparing myself for the content update, because my guess is KDNF is going to just go through with it, despite what anybody says about it. The main worry is that people are going to feel like they've wasted their effort. In KDNF, this effect is way amplified higher than anybody, because they've been dedicating many years already into Luke and upgrading their Luke sets, and it kind of feels like they've not created a path where their effort will be realized in this new set. For DFOG, it's hardly that big of an issue. Yes, we've been grinding for a long time at Luke, but essentially what we've done is the amount of getting your Triumph weapon, upgraded 90 set, and then some people are getting close to finishing their sub-equipment set. Like, that's how long we've had Luke. That's the best people could manage. It's been a lot longer over there in KDNF, so it affects them more. But it really does raise the question for anybody involved in DFO, whether it be KDNF or DFOG, is it worth it to keep doing Luke. In fact, I'm trying to think right now, what is the point of doing Luke at all when you're introducing sets that are going to be stronger than the upgraded 90 sets? I mean, think about the process of getting an upgraded 90 set for a second. You need to do tons of hell modes to get 5 pieces randomly from a 90 epic set, okay? And then you have to luckily get that set and then do Luke in the meantime constantly to upgrade that set. And you're going to be able to ignore that second step completely by just doing the Turber's epic farm. What the fuck is the point of Luke is what I'm getting at here. What the fuck is the point? Now, it does sound like that we've only seen word of there being armor set. So we only saw the armor set and the weapon is what the Terbers had so far. So sub-equipment might be the only thing that's worth farming. We know Beast Dungeon is for the upgraded accessory set. There is no word of any sub-equip magic stone set and earring set. So Luke might be only for that set, which means you kind of wasted your time if you upgraded the 90 armor set and you got a Savior's Triumph because you should have gotten the sub-equip magic stone set. But anyway, guys, maybe that's the only reason to do Luke. I honestly hope that the Savior's Triumph does see an upgrade, and it better be stronger than this shit, because boy, oh boy, would that be a slap in the dick if you had to do all of that grinding to get your Savior weapon. All of that grinding to upgrade that Savior weapon to a Triumph. Only to just do one hell and get an epic that's way stronger than that, you know? Fuck off with that. Anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm not too worried about this update. Like I said, I'm probably in the camp where I'm going to be preparing for this update instead of trying to gear myself up for it, for sure. But what about you? What say you? Are you going to be ready for this update? Are you going to be complaining? Are you going to quit? You going to be a bitch made and quit because of all of your effort? If you're in DFOG and you're going to quit for that, you a fucking bitch, because you have not had to grind nearly as much as KDNF has with this Luke stuff, and you're not going to be losing that much effort. But, you know, maybe you're going to quit. Let us know. But anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I'm done, and I will catch you nights later.